All right. Can you hear me? I believe that you can. All right. So let's go through this one time, see if it works. So, Erica, I would like for you to, you see this format? Let me go to my internet, the Google Sheet there. Let's focus on this right here, this top line. It says first name, last name, mailing address, mail city, mail state, mail zip, property address, and so forth and so on. Don't worry about the owner name for right now. We just focus on these A through J. Now, essentially what I did was these names to the left were actually all on the right, but in scattered format. Some of them you see right here says first name and then the last name. These all are in correct format, whereby this is the actual first name and this is the actual last name. But as we go further down, where I stopped doing so was at 39. Now, to the right is where most of the work will be done. In order to put this stuff on the left, to put it in first name format, last name format, right? Now, here's the case. You see how it says Peter and then Benevich? That's in perfect format. So what that needs to be, what happens right here is you just essentially copy and paste that, well, cut and paste and put that in the same row where it is, and you just leave that as is, and you just keep going all the way down. Now, what happens is you'll run into stuff where some rows have DB, like you see how it says DB Foster LLC, and you can just continue to go on and down. For stuff like DB Foster LLC, anything that has an LLC, you just essentially just leave that right there. All right, don't even delete it. All right. Now, in this row, I didn't have it, but it should say in this row, first name, middle, and then the last. But it went for some columns in different order. So for right here, it says Elias, W is the middle initial, and then the last name is Brown. So for this one, what you'll do is you can just cut this, you can put this right here, however you want, and then you just cut those, and then you just put that right there. So that is in first name, last name format. Same thing right here, but this right here, this is a little tricky. Actually, this is an LLC, so you just leave it as is. But for a name like this is quite tricky. I don't even know about this one. Actually, I do, because it says the same name is right here, which tells me this is a last name. So what needs to happen is this is the first name, and this is their first name. So what needs to happen is you cut this, and you put that right there, and then you cut that because that's the last name, and then you put that right there. Same thing for this, but for right here, you can just copy and paste. Notice I actually skipped the middle name right here, which is Abraham. I believe that's the middle name. Anything in the middle is believed to be the middle initial or name. All right, so you just put that right there. Now, Alberto Buena, that sounds pretty straightforward. I think that's the first and last name. We just keep it moving like that. I'm gonna just keep on going till I find something that's a little out of the box. Now this, I do believe that Chrysola is the first name because it just has the words Chris in it. I'm not sure, it has the root name Chris in it. And so I think that's her first name. So what I'll do is I'll just, get it in right here, and then just go ahead and cut the whole thing and then paste it right here where I believe this is the first name and then last name. All right. I don't know this at all, so I'll just assume that Vasios is the first name. I'm not sure actually. I really don't know. And then I'll just cut and paste that. And then the same thing goes on. It just goes on just endlessly. So Slida. Martha obviously is a first name. In home, I never heard that to be a first name unless it was in a different country. And so I'll just go and put that right there. And it just continues. Mohammed. And then what you can also do is once it gets familiar, it looks like everything's a first name. So you just look at Muhammad, Craig, Ryan, Amir, Francis. All those seem pretty straightforward. Now this one is a little bit tricky, which is Adolf Newman. So we're going to stop right here. Francis, copy everything, cut everything, and then we're going to paste it right over here and go to work. Now for these two, we're just going to cut those and paste it over this. All right, same thing. So you get the idea, pretty straightforward. Let me do this one because it's for this, what I want you to do is to, whenever it is two people, let me see. Whenever it's two people, right, I want you to separate them. So you paste that Adolf. Newman is the last name. Nelly obviously is another individual. Nelly. Let me just Control X. And what you'll do is the same thing right here. Cut. I'm sorry, copy, because that's the same last name. Just copy. All right, and it just goes on and on. Johnny, George, Earl. Let me do this one more time. Dorothy, Michael. I do believe Devang is the first name because Patel is the last name, Indian name. And then you just go John, Annie. Yeah, let's go there. So we do the Johnny and then Annie. Yep. So pretty straightforward. Just putting things in format. This is actually, you're preparing what you're actually preparing in format so that I can text. Well, skip trace first and foremost, and then text these individuals. And then once they're skip traced and text, they actually go out to you guys to call. All right. So cut that, paste that right here. You can let me know if that's correct or not. All right. So there it is.